Hello, my name is Ryan Brockman. I am a part of our Media Solutions group here at Quad Graphics. I'm here with...
I'm Sally Kingsley. I'm the Director of Manufacturing for Smithsonian Enterprises. And we are here tonight. Joanne asked us to come and talk to you about the technology. Well, you can talk about that.
Yeah, our Interactive Print Solutions group has a variety of technologies under the umbrella of helping the mobile reader using their smartphone or mobile device to interact with the publication. So we're going to talk about interactive print.
And then once Ryan has been reviewed with you the 4 different technologies that are out there now, we're going to go over a case study where about a year ago Smithsonian Magazine worked directly with Quad to create our December Innovators issue, which was a new thing for us. We were celebrating 9 innovators in 9 different disciplines. There was going to be an event held, there was going to be the print, and we wanted to bring it alive for the readers and for the people at the event. And we decided to work with Quad with an augmented reality solution, which we'll go over in detail when we show it to you.
As you may know, Quad Graphics was founded as a printer. We're still a printer today, we just do far more than just print. Our Media Solutions group, which historically used to be imaging or pre-press or pre-media, you've heard all those terms, all of that is under the umbrella of Media Solutions. So we not only just do separations and build pages, we also do creative, strategy, photo, video, app creation, all kinds of different things under the umbrella of Media Solutions. One of the groups under the Media Solutions group is called Interactive Print. And basically what interactive print is how to make the connection between print and mobile. Yes, there are mobile reader apps, there are you could read a publication online, but print is still a very relevant channel, and we actually have print clients growing, print subscription or growing print magazines. So how do you interact with those magazines and expand on that editorial content and advertising content? So in Smithsonian's case, it was strictly editorial, really telling the story of these innovators, these 9 innovators, and it was expanding on the editorial content that you just read in print. But also think about that from an advertising perspective and how you can upsell advertisers on these types of technologies. So what Sally had mentioned, there was 4 different technologies, one being quick response or QR, second being image recognition or IR, third being augmented reality or AR, fourth being NFC or near field communications. So you may hear me reference QR, IR, AR along the way, so now you have a reference point to where those acronyms come from. So first, let's talk a little bit about QR codes. I think most people understand what they are and what they do, and you've seen them in the marketplace. And really, their upsides are also their downsides. So the upsides really for QR code campaigns are they're open standard or interoperable. So basically, there's a whole slew of readers out there that can interact with these QR codes. But that also is somewhat of a downside because you're not going to test every single one of those QR code readers, so you're not sure. I mean, you scan the code and you go to a mobile landing page, that's one thing, but you know there's a bunch of different ways, a bunch of different readers out there that operate a different way, so so that's also somewhat of a downside as well. The other upside is recognizable. Everybody knows what QR codes are these days, and you know that you can scan them. There also has to be some kind of visual element there to let people know what they're going to get. So whether that be, most people just say scan this for more information or scan this for an offer, there has to be something there. It just can't sit there by itself because otherwise why would you scan it? So it's very recognized, but it's also very recognized as being somewhat ugly. Not many people from a creative standpoint like them. So that's also a downside as well. But you can be flexible with these codes, as you may well know, that you can actually change the color of them. You can actually play with the filters in Photoshop to adjust them. There's a certain percentage that you can adjust on them, which is a nice thing. Quad brings variable to the mix here, so we can actually make those codes variable, so it's a direct one-to-one to the recipient. It's similar to a personalized URL that was also a common marketing term, or Perl. It's the same concept where you scan it and it's driving you to a unique landing page, or but not only that, but you can also pre-populate the landing page with the information that you already know about the reader. So from a subscriber standpoint, if you look on the right image, you'll see this is a very simple way to get a reader to renew a subscription. So you already know their information. Why not pre-populate, submit, done. You don't have to worry about anything else. Maybe you add a payment information or bill me later or something like that, but it's very simple. So you don't have to, in particular on the phone side, you don't have to thumb your name and your address and type all that information in. You can pre-populate the mobile landing page with the information that you know. On the left is more of a marketer standpoint on how you can find the closest store and using GPS technology that's in the phone to find the closest store to you. And here's an example of Summerfields, and keep in mind Summerfields is a generic title or a generic customer that we made up for the sake of demo purposes. The second technology is image recognition. So it's the same as QR. Exact same type of concept where you're scanning something, that being a code, but in this case you're scanning an image and you're driving digital experiences or digital content to the device. The nice part about IR is there's no code needed. All you do is scan the page, scan a particular image down to about a 24th of the page, basically, so your camera on your phone can focus enough to read the image. Recognizes the natural features of the image, no watermark needed, nothing like that. So we keep that image on our servers. You scan the image, pings the database where the image sits. We also pre-program the image to whatever experience we're driving to the phone, whether it be in a video or a mobile landing page, or even we'll talk about AR experiences is driven to the phone. So it's very simple, and from a creative standpoint, it's nice because you don't have to worry about any code information, a QR code on there. There is an education piece which I'll talk about a little bit, and we'll also talk about in the case study. There is a little education is very important to educate the reader to know that this exists, to know that what they're going to get when they scan this image or this page. So now I'd like to talk about just apps in general, because I'm sure there's a lot of people scratching their heads wondering, all right, what app do I use? Do I use QR code app out there? Do I use my own? Or what's going on the app side? So Quad created Actable, and you can actually go out there and download it today. It's in the iOS platform or the App Store, and it's also on Google Play. So we created Actable for clients that don't really want to create their own app, or maybe they already have an app. And actually, Smithsonian's case, they actually do have an app. So not to confuse the two, the reader app versus Actable. So we created Actable for that purpose. And Actable is the actual reader app. So you launch the app and you'll see that it's starting to scan to look for images to scan. And that's what that is. So underneath Actable, these are branded apps that we did for clients, or white labeled apps that we did for our clients. So along the left to right there, we have Apple Vacations, Lego, Lego Connect, and you also hear like little buzzwords here about Connect and Actable. These are all action type words. Field and Stream and Maxim Motion. So Maxim Publication Motion. It creates this interactivity. These buzzwords are important. So that's a little bit about app technology. So all of these branded apps basically have Actable technology under the hood. It's just branded to the reader. I briefly talked about education. So education is very important. Usually you want to have not just in the publication, but Smithsonian did a great job of putting a Q&A on their page, on their website, and talking about it on their website. So more than just in the publication, you want it in social media, and you want to be able to educate your readers to let them know that, number one, it's there, but then also how to use it, and then thirdly, what am I going to get? So consistency in your iconography throughout the publication is important. So this is just an example, and if there's creative people listening to this, you might like or dislike these icons, but basically if you create a set of icons to let the reader know what they're going to get. So am I going to get a photo gallery? Am I going to get 3D content? Am I going to get coupons? And so creating this is very important, just to educate the reader on what they're going to get. The third technology is augmented reality. And augmented reality is 3D, 4D experiences, even 2D experiences where you're driving these experiences to the device. So you scan the page and maybe something 3D animation lands literally on the page, and we'll have examples of of this in the Smithsonian magazine. Or maybe it's a video, so literally the page comes to life and the video plays. Rich animations. Somewhat look like videos, but they're actually animations. So these are just literally bringing print to life. In augmented reality, there are a couple different spaces of it, or a couple different faces to it. And you can also, I'll reference sometimes utility to novelty and utility, where it's okay, that's great, it's I got this 3D image, but what does it do for me? To utility, where a lot of our clients are actually monetizing augmented reality experiences. So the two faces really are, in the left example, is actually scanning. This is more on a utility side. You're actually scanning that particular advertisement, interacting with it on social media, but then also you can actually go out to iTunes. These are actually buttons that appear on the page. So on your phone, you can literally tap Facebook, tap Twitter, tap Pinterest, and interact with social media, or even just tap buy the song. It's going to jump out to iTunes and you can purchase the song. So right from the printed piece, you can actually make purchases. It's pretty cool stuff. On the right-hand side is more of a game or more of a storytelling experience, and this is pretty popular as well, where you're expanding on that editorial content. And this is essentially what Smithsonian did on how you brought video and 3D animation to bring that content to life. The last technology is near field communications, or NFC. You may have seen the old Samsung commercial, the 3GS commercial actually, where there are two guys are tapping their phones together to share playlists. That's essentially what it is. So there's an RF chip, or a radio frequency chip, that's in the phone that can interact with an antenna. And on the right picture there, you faintly see this little gray circle. That's actually a smooshed antenna that's under a sticker that we applied to the page. Or you can also apply it to in-store signage or something like that. So you're literally tapping your phone on that antenna and content is driven to your phone. Same concept as everything else. It could be a video, it could be a mobile landing page, it could be 3D experiences, or it could be a transactional information. So the beauty of this is there's no app needed. You just tap your phone. The downsides are currently starting to be eliminated, but the biggest downside is it's expensive. Those antennas are kind of expensive, and the other downside is if you asked me last year, there was only a handful, maybe, or actually a large handful, 30 to 40 devices. Now we're over 100 devices that actually can interact with this. In the marketplace, Apple still has a large chunk of the smartphone users with the iPhone. So the iPhone currently can't interact with this. So you're eliminating, virtually 45% of the market, 40% of the market, the smartphone market. There are also other Android devices that can't interact. So you're eliminating a lot of devices, and that's why we haven't seen a huge push with this. Quad actually worked with Wired magazine and ran a Lexus ad with this, technology, but you'll see a lot more of this in the retail space, and then also publishing will start to use it, I'm sure, a little bit more as the years progress and as the price point comes down for these antennas. We'll talk about this also in the case study, but we have an analytics package that's tied to interactive print. So per campaign, this is actually a catalog, but it's the same thing in publishing where it's a monthly or bi-monthly or even quarterly. You can track each issue, track total downloads, total purchases. I think the most common are the total downloads, or I'm sorry, total scans, and then also geographic location is important. Tied to other analytics packages, we could probably find a lot more information, but you can really dive into the analytics just to prove success, but then also see where people are and see how people are interacting. So that's a nice addition to this. So we'll get into we'll get into a little bit of the case study, talk a little bit more about the Smithsonian and how they used it, and some of the experiences of going through from start to finish. It was a fun project, and I hope to do more. So with that, we'll turn it over to a conversation between myself and Sally.